The 2025-26 League One campaign officially kicks off this Friday, and in today's video I'm going to go through and predict all 12 of the Game Week 1 fixtures. If you do want to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. How do you believe your side will get on the opening game week, and let me know all your other predictions as well. I'll put them in the description so you can copy and paste it and just change the verses to the scores. Let's waste no further time and get straight into it. We'll start out firstly then with tomorrow's Friday night clash between Luton Town and AFC Wimbledon. For a lot of people, this would seem a very straightforward Luton Town win, and I can certainly understand that argument. Obviously, Luton relegated last season from the Championship on goal difference, and Wimbledon were promoted last season through the League 2 playoffs. So technically, the best team versus the worst team coming into League 1. Wimbledon were very good defensively last campaign, but they have lost key players in Josh Nerfville and James Tilley. In terms of Luton Town, yes, they've lost a few pretty significant players, but they've also recruited very well, and I still would expect more business to be done from a Luton Town point of view, but I have them challenging right at the top of the table. I think Wimbledon are going to struggle for goals this season, so for me personally, I think this will finish in a pretty comfortable 2-0 home win for the Hatters. I just feel like when you're coming down, not even in the worst way, to be relegated on goal difference, having had back-to-back relegations, you're at home against, on paper, the worst team in the division, with Wimbledon obviously coming up through the playoffs. Surely Luton can get the victory there. I'm going 2-0. Cardiff City versus Peterborough United is the early kick-off on Saturday. Obviously, Cardiff came down from the Championship last campaign, finishing bottom of the table. It was an awful season for them. They've not signed a single player. Yes, they've not really lost anybody of too much significance, only really Callum O'Dowd. Obviously, Peterborough, they've lost 5 or 6 of their very important key players from last season, but they've spent money and brought the next batch of young talent in through the door. I think they've got like 1 or 2 players over the age of 25, but I feel like for a first game of the season, we are going to see a few shocks, and I feel like a lot of people will back Cardiff at home to beat Peterborough. I'm going the other way around. I'm going 2-1 to the Posh. I just feel like they could catch them on the counter-attack with their pace. Cardiff might not necessarily be settled. They might take a bit of last season's momentum into this year, with it being pretty much the exact same squad. Not a single signing has come in through the door, so I'm going to back Peterborough to win in the early kickoff. Blackpool FC versus Stevenage FC. Obviously, Blackpool have lost some real creative and goal scoring talent this summer in Sonny Carey and Rob Apter, both to Charlton, but they have definitely reassured their defence, and it is going to look a lot better this season than what it did last campaign. As for Stevenage, they've recruited very well this summer. Defensively, they're going to be very strong again, but I just feel like for an opening game week, it's not the most exciting of fixtures. It might feel a bit flat. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw in this one. I just feel like both sides defensively very solid. They're probably going to cancel each other out in this one. My team Bradford City kick off our return to League One with a home clash against last season's League One playoff semi-final losers, Wycombe Wanderers. Obviously, Wycombe ended the season really poorly under Mike Dodds. I don't think they've got a particularly great manager there. We're coming off the back of an unbelievable end to the season. The way we managed to get promoted, I feel like this season our home form is going to be very important. Away from home, we might struggle again. We barely won away from home last campaign, but at home, we were absolutely brilliant. But traditionally, when we start out at Valley Parade for a first game of the season, it always ends in a 0-0 draw, and that's what I'm going to predict in this one. Hopefully, Richard Coney has got his Championship move before Saturday, because he is very good. We've got a lot of injuries coming into this one, but I think both sides are going to cancel each other out. We look very strong defensively. They're obviously still a very good side, even though their manager isn't the greatest, so I'm going to go with that one to be a 0-0 draw as well. Burton Albion versus Mansfield Town. For me, this is kind of a mid-table clash. I don't think Burton will be in too much of a relegation battle this season. I think Mansfield are going to be very comfortable in and around mid-table. I think for an opening game of the season, Nigel Clough visiting one of his former clubs, I think this will finish in a score draw. I'm going to go 1 apiece in that one. I don't think it'll be the most exciting of matches, but I'm going to back both sides for a point in that one. Doncaster Rovers versus Exeter City. Obviously, Exeter are a lot of people's relegation favourites. Doncaster won the League 2 title last campaign, and I'm going to back them for a 2-1 home win. I think it might be much more comfortable than that. I think it might be 2-0 up until the 93rd minute, and Exeter might sneak a goal from a set piece, something like that. But I think Doncaster at home if they want to survive and be successful this season, which I think they will be, they do need to be beating teams like Exeter, with all due respect to them, at home this campaign. They've got a great manager in Grant McCann. I think Doncaster are going to start out as they ended last campaign as well. Huddersfield Town versus Leyton Orient. This is a real tough clash, this one, to be fair. I think Leyton Orient always tend to start a lot of seasons quite slowly while they're still sorting their squad out. They're getting used to the Richie Wellens style of play. Huddersfield, they've recruited very well. They've got a lot of talent in that squad, and I'm going to back them for a 3-1 victory at home. Obviously, League Run is very much an unknown, and I do think Orient have got one of the best managers in the division in Richie Wellens, but I think when they're at home, they're going to want to be successful this season. They're going to want to get off to a good start. Orient traditionally don't start seasons very well, or haven't done over the last couple of seasons, so I'm going to back Huddersfield for a pretty comfortable victory in that one. Lincoln City versus Reading FC. Now, this one for me was really hard to predict because Lincoln are obviously very strong at home, or have been over the last couple of years, but they've lost a few key players this summer. Obviously, they've lost Paudie O'Connor and Sean Rowan at the back. They've lost Ethan Hahon to Bolton Wanderers. I'm still struggling a bit with the pronunciation of his name, and they've not done too much in terms of transfer business incoming, but they do have Rob Street returning to the football club, who was great on loan at Doncaster last season. As for Reading, they're a little bit of an unknown still for me. Obviously, no Hunt still their gaffer, but I think this one is going to finish in a draw. I'm going to go one apiece on this occasion, but that for me is one that is really hard to call. Plymouth Argyle versus Barnsley FC. If you'd have asked me 6 weeks ago, I'd have said Plymouth might win this 5 or 6-0, but I'm backing Barnsley for a 2-1 away win. I do think we are going to see a few shocks on the opening day of the season, and while Barnsley have got all their key attackers for a large part available, I think Barnsley will score goals. Defensively, they're looking pretty ropey. I mean, they've not even got a senior right back on the first team books at the moment, and I don't think Mark Roberts, is it Mark Roberts? I'm pretty sure he's a particularly great centre half either. I think they need a right centre back and a right back to really challenge for that top 6, but they've got the best player in the division for me in Davies Keeler-Dunn. They've got another couple of great attackers in there, the likes of David McGoldrick, the likes of Adam Phillips and Lucan Connell as well in the midfield, and I do think Barnsley will come away from this game with a 2-1 win. And obviously Plymouth, they've sold a lot of their best players, they've made some signings, but their squad is considerably weaker. They've got a great manager though in Tom Cleverley, and I just feel like for a first game of the season, I have a feeling Barnsley will win that one. Rotherham United versus Port Vale is pretty straightforward for me. I'm not feeling confident about Rotherham's chances this season. I think they're going to be in a relegation battle. I've backed them to be relegated this season. Port Vale, I think, are going to come away from this game with a 2-0 win. They've got a very, very good starting 11. To my knowledge, not too many injuries at the moment. Rotherham really lack quality in that squad. There's only really Sam Nombe who's going to score many goals this season. There's only really Joe Powell who's going to create chances as well. They spent a lot of money on their defence, but nothing so far in terms of the attacking department. I think Port Vale will come away from that game with a pretty comfortable 2-0 win. Wigan Athletic versus Northampton Town, I can't see being the most entertaining of games. For me, I think Wigan, with them being the home side, I'm going to back them for a 1-0 win. It's pretty much guaranteed that Dara Costello will score that goal. Obviously, for Bradford City man, but spent the second half of last season on loan with Northampton, got a big money move this summer to Wigan, and I don't think there's going to be many goals in the Wigan Athletic game, similar to last campaign, but they've at least brought in some strikers this summer to try and rectify that. Their defence is still going to be very strong for me. I'm going to back them for a 1-0 home win. And finally then, we have the big one on Sunday, Stockport County versus Bolton Wanderers, arguably an early promotion, title winning, playoff chasing at 6-pointer. For me, there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. We saw, obviously, last season, I think Stockport won this fixture 5-0. I don't quite see that happening this time around. I think Bolton have got a great manager in Stephen Schumacher. Stockport have got an equally good manager in Dave Challoner. They've both got brilliant squads with loads of talent in there. Hopefully, though, it's not going to be one of them where they cancel each other out and it's a 0-0 and we see a big high-scoring game. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. It is obviously really hard to predict because we don't really know where any team is going to be come the end of the season. The first week is always the hardest to predict, so I think a draw is safe. Hopefully we see goals. I'm backing 2-2 in that one. And there we have it then. There are my Game Week 1 League 1 score predictions. Did any of my predictions shock you? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. How do you believe your team will get on in the opening game week? Thank you all for watching. Make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. I know we asked for 100 at the start of today's video, but let's try and smash 120. That would be massively appreciated. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on Sunday for the Game Week 1 League 1 match review, Game Week review thing. I'll see you all then.